Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Zcrew Pod. And today, Thursday, July 24th, 2025, we got something very special for you guys. Brand new, starting today, Thursday, July 24th, the third day of NFL training camp. We're going to do a deep dive into all 32 teams to help us get ready for the 2025 NFL season. And I don't know about you guys, but I am pumped up. I cannot wait for this NFL season. I do want to say a quick thank you to all the other sports, hockey, basketball, baseball. Thank you for getting us through these last couple months. It's been very dry, especially with this time of year around baseball season. I love the All-Star game. The All-Star break was great. But for me, Orioles fans are having a pretty bad season, so I cannot wait for the NFL season to come. And it officially started because as of this week, guys, all 32 teams have reported to training camp, including the team that we're going to start with today, the Arizona Cardinals. So, just a quick recap of last season. The 2024 season for the Arizona Cardinals was very up and down for Kyler Murray and the boys. They finished the season with 8-9, and they actually finished third place in the NFC West. And guys, I was really surprised. The San Francisco 49ers actually finished last in the NFC West. I don't think anybody saw that coming. But yeah, so last year for the Cardinals, very up and down. They went on a bit of a run in the middle of the season. I think they won like 3 or 4 games in a row. But they could never really put anything together, and they could not put together a few wins at the end of the season to really, help them secure a playoff spot in an NFC that really is kind of, up for grabs in terms of those last kind of wild card spots. Besides the division winners, especially once they added the extra playoff team, I really think, the NFC is kind of up for grabs for those, final wild card spots. So anyway, yeah, kind of a disappointing year for the Cardinals last year. Kyler Murray played okay. At times he was great, but he's always kind of been up and down. And I think he's probably changed his coordinator the last 3 seasons again. So they really need to get some consistency there. And that brings me to my main point about the Cardinals this season. I think this season is a make or break year for Jonathan Gannon, the Cardinals head coach. He's entering year 4 as the Arizona Cardinals coach. And now this guy came from Philadelphia back in 2021, I believe. They went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs the first time they played them, and they lost to the Chiefs. I believe the Cardinals hired Jonathan Gannon right from the Eagles bus, and the Super Bowl was in Arizona that year, so I don't think he ever went back to Philly. They hired him right there. He's been their coach. I think this is going to be year 4 for Jonathan Gannon, and this guy has been he's supposed to be known as a defensive guy, defensive-minded coach, and honestly, the last couple of years, the Cardinals' defense has been very weak, in my opinion. I think the defense has really been the reason why this team has not been able to win many games, especially in their division. They really did struggle in their division last year, too, against these teams. And I really think a part of the reason was their defense just didn't really, especially the pass rush, was very, very tough for them. They had a hard time getting to the quarterback last year, and they just didn't have a great year last year. And again, I think that's mainly on the defense. And again, that kind of leads on their head coach, Jonathan Gannon, whose job is to, build up this defense. But that does bring me up to this point, guys. I think the Arizona Cardinals had one of the best drafts this season. I think they had a top 3 draft out of all the teams. In case you guys don't remember, they actually drafted Walter Nolan, the big defensive tackle, who I think was the best defensive lineman available in the first round. They got him at pick 16 out of Ole Miss. I think that's a huge steal for the Cardinals, man. This guy is a great player. They desperately need pass rush and, just defensive line help in general, and I think this guy's a stud. He's going to fit their defense great. So, great pick for them. They also got Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan, in the second round. Unbelievable. This guy had first-round talent on him, written all over him. There's no doubt the guy's talented, but he did unfortunately suffer, a pretty rough injury at Michigan last year. So he actually fell to the Cardinals in the second round, which is huge because, again, their secondary was pretty bad last year. Again, they had no secondary help. They really could use some secondary help, my fault. And they were able to sign, Sean Murphy-Bunting as well. But, guys, my point is the Cardinals drafted amazing. They got some studs on defense. They also drafted a guy from Ohio State, Denzel Burke. I believe they got him in the 5th round. And at one point, Mr. Burke himself was talked about being potentially a top 10 pick in a couple of drafts ago. I think back in 2022 they were talking about that. But that's beyond the point. The Cardinals clearly addressed their needs in the draft. I think they helped get their secondary back. Again, they still have, Buda Baker, one of the best safeties in the league. This guy plays like an elite safety. He's all over the field. The guy makes some insane plays. super fun to watch him run around the field and make all kinds of plays out there. He's a great guy you need on your defense. And again, kind of building the guys around him, build some corners to build around him to really build some kind of, maybe build something special in that Arizona secondary. Again, I also think adding, God, they did sign also big fella Calais Campbell to a 1-year deal, who probably will retire after the season. I think he's almost got to be up near 40. He's had a Hall of Fame career, and unfortunately, and obviously started his career with the Arizona Cardinals. I think he was on the Super Bowl team back in 2011. Might be wrong, but I think he was on that team. But anyway, yeah, he's been a huge part of their team. Again, they really needed help on their defensive line, and they got a huge addition with this guy, Calais Campbell. Also, they got pass rush. They signed former Eagle Josh Sweat to a 3-year deal, which is a huge signing again for them, joining his guy Jonathan Gannon in Arizona. Another big help on their pass rush, which again has been pretty bad the last couple of years. So I really think they need to shore up their defense, and it seems like they made some good moves in that department to help their defensive line. Again, also their offense, I think they're going to have a very high-scoring offense this season. I think you're going to see another breakout year from Trey McBride, who's one of the top 3 tight ends in the NFL. This guy's amazing. Also got guys like Trey Benson, second-year running back out of Florida State. This guy's got a lot of potential. I think he really fits their offense well behind James Conner, kind of a veteran, big running back, a good guy to run on first and second down. Again, you can throw in Trey Benson on third down, and this guy's a great elusive back. I think could be a big help for them. And also, you got year 2, Marvin Harrison Jr. This guy bulked up in the offseason. Looks like a completely different player. If you guys haven't seen him already, I'll put a picture of him right here. This guy's been putting in the work in the gym, in the lab, getting in that, building more chemistry with Kyler Murray. So I think he's going to have an even bigger year 2 with Kyler Murray next year. They also have the other receivers are a bit of an issue behind Marvin Harrison. They have Greg Dortch, Zay Jones. Kind of could use another wide receiver too. Maybe they could still sign somebody in before training camp is officially done, but I think they could use another wide receiver really to build up that room. But nonetheless, I really think their offense is going to be pretty powerful this year. If they can hang in there with these teams in the NFC West, the NFC West will be tough. Obviously, you got the Rams, who are going to be really good, and also the Niners, I think, are going to be a lot better than they were last year. But I think the Cardinals will probably finish ahead of the Seahawks. So I will say I do project the Cardinals to finish the season at 9-8. Again, I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. I think you guys have a tough division, but I think they're going to make the wild card. I think they're going to finish 9-8. They're probably going to lose some division. Again, their division is very tough. They always seem to play, the Cardinals and Seahawks play very tight games. The Seahawks have beaten them the last couple of years, I believe, but I think the Cardinals are going to finish with a 9-8 record and, finish for one of those final NFC wildcard spots. See this team again in the playoffs. Again, I think it was 2021 was the last time they were in the playoffs. They lost to the Rams on the Monday night game, I believe. The Cardinals didn't play very well that night. I think they still had Cliff Kingsbury as their coach then, so maybe it wasn't 2021. But anyway, the last thing I'll say about the Cardinals, guys, I don't want to call for anybody's job, but I will say if this team gets off to a slow start, especially the defense, is again, because I was saying how I think they really improved their defense from last year. If their team gets off to a slow start and their defense doesn't play very well, I could see Jonathan Gannon being on the hot seat very soon, especially if things go south early. I could see them calling for his job, especially if, they don't play very well to start the season. But I believe in the Cardinals. I think they will possibly be a wild card team, so stay tuned for that. But guys, this is going to wrap it with the first episode. We got the Atlanta Falcons coming tomorrow. So for all that, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more. Zcrew, we're out. Peace, guys. Have a good day. Go O's.